Welcome, everybody. This is George Veeder, the president and founder of Veeder Financial Group, touching base with everybody out there, my clients and people that follow our system and our social media. Just giving you an update. Here we are in the middle of June already, not halfway through the year, and there's a lot that's happened geopolitically, certainly with the U.S. markets. I want to give everybody my take on where we are and what to look forward to in the near term. Firstly, I want to just express thanks. We have had a record first part of the year. We had the best first quarter in production. For us, production in our practice is assets under management. So new money coming to us based on the referrals of existing happy clients. And we had by far the biggest first quarter in the history of Veeder Financial Group. So that's, I don't know, I'm just filled with gratitude about that. And year to date, we're just right at 50 million in new assets under management, which is a record for us. And I just couldn't be more thrilled. I'm so grateful to some of the new staff members that we have this year, how they have stepped up, and then existing staff members filling a greater purpose with our practice and what we do for clients. And I just feel like we are experiencing the best version of Veeder Financial Group from our inception till now, and we're quickly evolving into a much more powerful firm that can go faster and do more for the people that we cherish those relationships with. So thank you. Secondly, I want to mention where we are in the market. You know, we're at roughly, of course the market's changing all the time, but the Dow's at 51,500, which is amazing. We thought in March that the wheels were coming off the bus, just like we did the year before with the tariffs. This year, of course, it's the Iran conflict that gives a lot of people pause as to what the future is going to look like. But fortunately, the market recovered in April into May and is looking past the war. Today, we're told that an agreement is being hammered out to be signed, and that we have agreement based on the Pakistani intermediaries in this discussion with Iran and the United States, that a deal has been created, and that in the near term, in the next few days, the Hormuz Strait will be opened. We need 150 tankers, oil tankers, to go through there every day to create equilibrium in world oil supply. So as soon as that happens, we already see oil is tanking today, the spot price of oil, and it'll go back down somewhere around where it was before the war started, $70 a barrel for oil. And then that will give relief to consumers with energy costs and gas costs, and it'll just create a sense of well-being. One more thing that we as Americans have gone through to give us a brighter future that we were stressed about, that we can move on from and focus on the positive things in the market. Now, last year, the Standard & Poor's 500 companies had 12.1% revenue growth, which is incredible. That's an incredible clip. Standard & Poor's had given us an estimation that this year we should do somewhere around 15% in net revenue growth on the S&P 500. And it looks like we're right there. We had a phenomenal earnings reporting period in the April to May, which was the first quarter. And now in July, so 1 month from now, we'll go into the second quarter earnings, which gives the market fuel. I also wanted to mention that diversification that we've preached since the inception, we've never followed trends and momentum, has really proved to be the right thing to do once again. When you've come in for your reviews, you've seen that small caps have had the biggest influence for positive in your portfolio, and then international exposure and value stocks, the opposite of last year and the last few years. Large cap growth has been the least impactful part of our portfolio on a percentage basis, which has been the big 900-pound gorilla, 2024, 2023, 2022, coming out of that inflation scare. So once again, just when you think there's this one thing you should be investing in, it's the time when you need to rethink and invest in things that haven't had their day, so that you can be buying things at the beginning of their momentum shift instead of at the top of their growth period. So I know as clients have come in, they've been pleasantly surprised with where they're at for the entire year. We'll keep doing our job. This will give us more clarity, assuming that this deal does get finalized, which feels like it is, with interest rates. We'll know where the Fed is at. We know he's not in the near term probably going to lower rates, but there could be a rate decrease if this does happen this week, somewhere between now and the end of the year. That's what analysts are telling us. And they'll take off the table the need to raise rates, which will give relief to the market, both bond market and stock market. So we'll keep you posted with that. I also wanted to mention that, we have this big SpaceX that's been created all kinds of news. It's the biggest IPO ever. On the first day of trading, which was Friday, we had a $2 trillion company. A few years ago, we had no trillion-dollar companies, and now the massive tech influential companies are trillion-dollar companies. We have a club, and SpaceX joins the club on the first day of trading, which is just phenomenal. Now, clients, because of the buzz, have been very enthusiastic, wanting to participate, and I've tried to create some pause because there's initial excitement. The first day of trading, the IPO SpaceX was priced at 135, but it immediately traded up to 148, like immediately. And then it's drifted up to the 160s, 170 today, but it's been choppy, kind of on a sideways trajectory. Now, those of you that have asked for SpaceX shares, I will get you little positions here because, of course, I don't want it to have a big runoff and then us feel like we missed the boat. But I would open the door to taking a second bite if there is a selling event, which there typically is with a new position. When people that work for the company, when their restricted shares are unlocked and they have the ability to sell SpaceX, those that are SpaceX employees, so that lockup period expires. And then there's usually a lot of selling because they get to make their dreams come true. Their company's public, they get to liquidate some shares and buy the big house and buy the car and upgrade their lifestyle with what's happened with the IPO. So that's the typical flow of an IPO. So we will get you small positions, those of you that have asked, and then you can add to those positions if there are any dips, but that's the way we're playing it. I want you to know that we have July earnings, then we have the third quarter, then we have the fourth quarter earnings that start in October. And I feel like we have this major expansion to look forward to in U.S. equities. There's more players now. The advance is broadened out. We've got by a little scary thing with this geopolitical issue, and I know it's not going to be straight up, but I think trajectory is definitely positive. We are for sure still in a bull market. I want to make sure we get the good out of it. So just know that we at Veeder Financial Group have continued to evolve. We've evolved in our personnel. We've evolved in what we do for clients, more and more service, direct things that we do for clients. And we've evolved in our attitudes. We've been through this period of time where there's been a little change in Veeder Financial Group, and it's made us better, stronger, more committed, reaffirmed to the original vision of Veeder Financial Group. So please take a look at us. Keep sending referrals. That's the lifeblood of our business. We've had the biggest referral dinners than we've ever had in our history this year. They've been phenomenal. Part of that's attributed to just the double commitment of our staff and our marketing department. But of course, the big thanks is to you clients that continue to support us in the way that you do. I want to mention again, what we ask of you is not to sell us a new client. We don't want you to have to tell clients why they need to look at Veeder Financial Group. That's my job. We just want you to invite them to have a look at what we do, to see if there's some part of it that could improve their financial life. So approach it like that if you don't mind, and just keep thinking of people that we might be able to help, and then let us do the work of showing them where we can fill gaps to help them better get to the goals that they've established for themselves. Once again, thank you. I'm super grateful. I look forward to talking to you again as we continue to update you through these video blogs. Any questions that you have about the changing world around, please communicate with us. I know we do the quarterly reviews, but the more communication, I'm here every day, the more communication that you give to us in our minds, that's what we want, more not less. So thank you again. Look forward to talking to you later in the summer. Thanks.